Try to decide. I don't look so. Hi. Hello.
Compared to pretty much everyone else we host on Refresh Friday, you probably have the most images in a search engine search of anyone, and they're all screenshots from videos. This one I think was from why is the name escaping me? News CBC. Damn it!
Oh yeah.
Fitzpatrick.
The guys down in Atlanta.
Yeah.
CBT News.
That's it. CBT News. Yeah. Mm. But a lot of your other ones are old.
Yeah, high school yearbook type photos.
Yep.
Indeed.
Not that I think Jeff or I could say anything about our pictures over there. I know mine's from like 2005.
Well, but at least you posed for them. I have a theory that everybody is two-faced, right? We're shaving or brushing our teeth or putting on our makeup in the mirror in the morning and this great face, right? And then somebody takes a picture of us later in the day and, something happened.
Something happened.
Yeah, we have prepared face and then we have, unprepared face. So that's my theory. We're all two-faced.
So all your photos are unprepared face. Got it.
Yeah. I should pay somebody to take a professional picture of me, but I'm afraid that they won't be able to touch it up enough. Make it work for them.
Yeah. I need to update mine. That's pretty damn old.
It is, yeah.
It's amazing, Steve, what you can do with today's, modern cell phone camera on a white wall.
Oh, yeah, and how quickly? Yeah, one of my sons showed me the other day. Just took out a background like that for his grandfather for videos that he does, and it's there's no chroma key needed anymore. It's not even he just he does online karaoke and does it like from his laundry room. Didn't want that on. So my son showed him. I mean, it was 30-second fix. But old Kirshner there, your boy is about 5 years from looking like that picture. Your little mini me.
Yeah,
that's true. All right, 3 seconds, guys.
He might. He's turned into a little gym rat here lately. Probably the past 8 months. So he's going to be showing off the guns at some point here. Way past me.
I love me, Cassie.
I get the pleasure of talking to Cassie multiple times a day, Steve.
You?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she runs. She's the head of our sales team.
Oh, no kidding! That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's. Gosh, I've known her. I'm going to make her sound old if I say how long I've known her. Probably definitely since my Asbury days. So 2008. I don't know. It was a long time ago.
Good old
Anyway,
Asbury
hi guys.
days.
Yeah, Cassie's.
I'll never forget the first. It was probably close to the first time I met you. It was in Vegas. Introduced to you. I just thought you were sort of a cocky asshole. I'm like,
which one of us are you talking about here?
I'm talking about Steve. I'm like, I don't know if I like this guy. And then once I got to know you, I was like, all right, we have a lot of the same characteristics with our personality. We're both smart asses. And I don't know why. I just couldn't read you. I was like, I wonder if people think that about me. Obviously, I'm sure they do. And now you're one of my favorites.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we've talked about how I have a hateable face, and so I get that. It takes people.
I wasn't saying that.
No, hey, look, I can take it. It's a hateable face, and I don't know why, but it is, and it takes people some time, and that's okay. You blew in with the mile one entourage.
Yeah.
I was with Asbury at the time, and we didn't pay money to have more than one person travel at a time, so I didn't.
It usually
I
was
didn't
just you.
sponsor it. Anyway, so we're here.
We are to talk about your latest book.
How many books is it now?
It's five books. Yeah, the latest, ridiculously simple customer experience. That glare.
We got one
wrote
here
it with.
too.
Oh, good! Look at that. Hey, there's another copy I sold. Yay! Wrote it with my son Connor, one of my three sons, and really, it was a pretty cool effort because it was. We weren't in the same city. He lives down in Boise, Idaho. I'm in North Idaho, so I'm about 7 hours, about a 7.5 hour drive from him, and so we did it basically, a lot on Google Drive, but a lot of just moving files back and forth and that kind of thing. And we had tried to collaborate on a fiction book because it's something he's wanted to do, and all five of my books are nonfiction. And I wanted to take a crack at it. And the problem with fiction is there's opinion and direction you want to take a story. And I'm sure nobody cares about this story but me and him. But anyway, I'll tell it. And he just kept taking the story down a path. I was like, what? It's like really dark, but he's a millennial and that's what they want to do. And I would try to pull the story back another way. And I mean, we have a lot of pages written. It's just sitting there because one of us has to just own it and kick the other one off, I think, finish the damn book.
Yeah. Especially if you have that many pages already completed.
Yeah. Oh, indeed. Yeah. I mean, it's a full book already. It's just, it goes here and then it goes there and it just, it's too disjointed. But with ridiculously simple customer experience, I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, these are facts, not opinions. And I mean, they might be the opinions of customers, but that's all that matters, right? Is the customer's opinion. So this one was much easier to write. It is ridiculously simple for people, right? It's my second ridiculously simple book. This one I wrote by myself, Ridiculously Simple Sales Management. You look at how thin these books are, by the way. I did that because Assumptive Selling, which is over 400 pages, every time a dealer got that book, the first thing they'd say to me is, do you have an audio version? Do you have an audio version? They're like, no. So
you should do them all in audio and read them yourself.
Yeah, I looked into that. There's just no return on my effort. I mean, it would be 40 hours of recording and then editing and all that. I know there are companies that'll read it for you for $500 or whatever, but Amazon, which is great for self-publishing paperbacks, and you make a decent amount of money on each book. They also own Audible, and so they don't let you make anything on Audible. I mean, you would think that they have to print, a paperback, right? That costs them something. They're going to take a bigger chunk of the pie, but not so. So anyway,
wonder why.
That's why.
Interesting. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. I just figured that would be a moneymaker. The Audible, it's portion. I use Audible all the time.
Sounds like it is for Amazon.
And I would want to, Assumptive Selling is a $50 paperback. If I think on Audible, if they'd even allow you to sell it for $50 or anything close, I'd get like $8 a copy. And there's just not that big of an audience. I mean, it's only automotive dealers. And so, and then that's your whole audience, and you're only going to get a tiny subset of them. So, anyway.
Yeah. And not too many people in our industry read that much.
True. Yes. True. That is true.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But a lot of your books don't, I mean, obviously, especially with this one, they don't need to be automotive. It's, it's just customer service no matter where you're at. And then, your fascination with Chick-fil-A.
Well, we use Chick-fil-A as the example in the book because it's an easy one for people to relate to. I mean, virtually everyone in America has been to a Chick-fil-A, and if you haven't, it's not that hard to go to a Chick-fil-A. And then, you compare that experience with anywhere else, and it's night and day. I mean, I'm not even talking about comparing it to Popeyes. I mean, I love the Popeyes chicken sandwich, but and I think the best fast food chicken sandwich out there, but you got to be willing to take a beating,
Yeah.
and people will argue it's worth taking a beating for. And I got to tell you, on some days it might be worth taking a beating for a Popeyes chicken sandwich. But Chick-fil-A, is they are they're uncompromising in their customer experience. Yeah, Katie Barnett or Bullet. They are uncompromising in delivering a great customer experience every time. And that's the difference. All of the McDonald's, hey, look, they're making money, right? But what I will tell you, McDonald's doesn't have is a lot of pricing power. They can't increment their prices up too much without losing people to one of the other crappy fast food places. But McDonald's has the same sort of, employee manuals and mottos and mantras and vision statements and all of that Chick-fil-A does. I'm sure Popeyes does as well. It just doesn't trickle down to the frontline employee as relentlessly as it does Chick-fil-A.
If a company like Chick-fil-A can do it, why can't others? Why is it so hard to duplicate that?
It's not hard. In fact, it's ridiculously simple. Thank you for asking.
Had that queued up.
They really can't. Yeah, they actually can. That's the part that we kind of struggled with in the book is, all of these examples that we give are not, for the most part, and for most industries, don't take any technology. They just take someone at the top to actually care. See, here's the difference. Southwest Airlines, when it was founded by Herb Kelleher, they cared because Herb Kelleher cared. Now, his was an employee-first approach. Mine is a customer-first approach. That said, he didn't allow his employees to treat customers poorly. But it wasn't just a vision statement or a mission statement thrown up on the wall. It was the way that he conducted business and the way that he made sure everyone in his organization conducted business. It's the same thing with Chick-fil-A. They won't allow a cashier, when I say thank you, they won't allow a cashier to reply, no problem, right? Because if they did, she's let her, that's her, that's Barbara. Barbara's going to say no problem. If they did, it wouldn't take long for the experience for the customer to devolve into Popeyes. And that's the difference. Every major corporation has created, these plans, these programs, program mentality, to please the customer. And they printed up manuals and they sent them out and they have 2 weeks of training and all of these things. But they don't follow through. Somebody had just written that it's culture, and it is, but it's, culture starts from the top, and it's not a program. It is who we are. And that's the part that I think it gets frustrating. And, I'm the old man yelling, kids, get off my lawn. But, it really is ridiculously simple. And it just boggles my mind that more corporations don't do that.
So what are you supposed to say when someone says thank you at Chick-fil-A? I don't go there often enough.
They say my pleasure.
My pleasure.
My pleasure.
And
everywhere you go, they say my pleasure.
That's just being so anal. It's maybe authoritarian. It's like, relax. Like that's not going to sell you more chicken sandwiches.
Yeah,
that's what people would say. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, I would argue against that one.
I argue it as well.
Yeah, standing on the outside looking in, it's an easy thing to refute, and everyone wants to pick at something these days. But being on the inside, I think of the military and how they rigorously get everyone in line through extreme process and how you conduct your lives and all sorts of things like that, and how good it is for somebody. Because most people do want to follow.
Mhm.
They,
Well, they want
it might,
guidelines. They want rules
yeah.
to some degree.
But they need the structure, and I think the structure mixed with what Steve's talking about of the culture and the actual caring, the genuine, um, whatever's coming from the top down is a good mix. Obviously, we're seeing their success. So I don't know.
Yeah, and the idea that why can't we just relax is, I get it, but they can't because we've all seen this movie before, right? I mean, when the regional manager doesn't inspect the bathrooms every time he goes into a Chick-fil-A, suddenly you're going to have some Chick-fil-A franchisee who wants to save a few bucks, and the bathroom's going to be dirty. You might say, what's a dirty bath? It's a fast food restaurant. Well, suddenly their drive-through isn't packed at lunchtime. And that's the other piece, for people who are regulars of Chick-fil-A and other fast food restaurants, when
The
you pull
drive-thru's
up to a
insane.
but you pull up to a Chick-fil-A drive-thru and you see 25 cars, you go ahead and pull in.
Mhm.
You see McDonald's with 4 cars in the drive-thru, you're like, I don't have this kind of time.
I'm walking in.
You're parking, or you're going somewhere else because you're like, man, this could take forever. But what's interesting, another thing about this, and both Connor and I, saw this. We both know like a really good Wendy's, or we both know a really good McDonald's, where the food is always made properly, the service is always friendly, and more importantly, the service is always correct and efficient. Where they just don't have issues. But those are all one-offs. And once that manager who's driving that leaves and goes somewhere else, it's going to devolve into crap again. I think the
Sounds like some
McDonald's chicken
dealerships right now.
sandwich. Well, yeah, indeed. I think McDonald's chicken sandwich, when done right, is better than Chick-fil-A. I know that's sacrilege to some people, but Chick-fil-A is fine. But what you get from Chick-fil-A is the consistency, right? You get it in an airport in Atlanta. It tastes exactly the same as the Chick-fil-A that you get in Los Angeles or Phoenix or Spokane, Washington, every single time. They don't say, well, those buns are a little stale, but they're good enough, right? Hey, we made this chicken, an hour and a half ago. It's getting kind of rubbery. Chick-fil-A is just not going to stand for that. They're going to do that. And as somebody just posted, Chick-fil-A makes the most revenue per rooftop of any fast food. More than that, though, the average Chick-fil-A makes more revenue per McDonald's, Starbucks, and Subway combined. Think about that. More revenue. And as Jeff is saying, they're only open 6 days a week. And they make more revenue per rooftop than any of those. And they also have pricing power.
I was going to say, don't they also, they're known for paying their employees quite well?
Yeah, but they don't. But so that allows them to get great employees. But here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, I just drove past the Taco Bell yesterday. They're now paying $16.50 an hour, right? I mean, the Taco Bell. I'm sure in Maryland, where you're at,
$25 to $30 here in Vermont.
Are you serious?
And they're getting look. They're getting good people at McDonald's and Taco Bell, right? They're just not turning them into great people. But Chick-fil-A, they have very low turnover, and so you can pay more when you're not constantly recruiting, hiring, and training, right? The cost of, I think in automotive, I saw a stat once. I think takes 7 months to recoup the cost of hiring a new salesperson, something like that.
You got to put them on a
don't quote
drive,
me on,
and no benefits for the first 6 months.
Yeah. And so when you think about like providing a great customer experience and the benefits of that, oftentimes car dealers or any business, they think that it's a cost, and it's not. it doesn't cost Chick-fil-A any more to create a great experience because they eliminate the costs of higher turnover, right? They eliminate, all of the other costs associated with that. They have pricing power. And so that absorbs any of these alleged costs. And, I can argue that right now, the average Chick-fil-A employee probably doesn't make much more than the average McDonald's employee, at least not here in the Pacific Northwest. But people are happier, right? Your team is happier dealing with customers who are happier. And like you said earlier, Jeff and Alex added to it, people need direction. They want direction. They want to know what's expected of them. They want to, do the right thing, whatever. And not everybody's a fit for Chick-fil-A or Ritz-Carlton or Zappos. I mean, that's okay. As they said in Caddyshack, the world needs ditch diggers too, Danny. But anyway, when we look at this in automotive, there's some opportunity for car dealers to really focus on the customer experience. And it doesn't mean, capitulating when you have a customer complaint. That's reactive customer service, right? If you're great at putting out fires, you're not creating a good customer experience. Chick-fil-A doesn't have a call center with 500 agents who manage all the complaints. They just don't get complaints. Ritz-Carlton just doesn't get complaints. They make it right. They make it easy. They manage expectations. They keep you informed, and they keep their word. And it's just those four things. I saw on LinkedIn yesterday, I think it was yesterday or Wednesday, someone posted their experience at a Chrysler dealer, CDJR dealer, getting, trying to use the express oil change. And they went to their local dealer on a Monday. The website said, 7 days a week, no appointment necessary. They get there and, well, we're short a lube tech today, so we can't do it today. Like, Jiffy Lube, people overpay at Jiffy. This is what people don't understand. Your average car dealer does, and I can tell you my experience, the average car dealer, full synthetic oil change is about 30% cheaper than Jiffy Lube. Plus, obviously they can do a better multi-point inspection. They can find warranty issues that they can correct for you. There's all sorts of things they can do.
Service history with the OEM through it.
Yes, absolutely. You know what they don't do? They don't make it easy. See, those are the four things that customer first companies like Chick-fil-A do. And that is they make it easy, right? They manage expectations. They keep their word, and they keep you informed. And but without that first one, when you make it hard for me to do business with you, I'm just going to go somewhere else. There's just too many other choices. And there's probably service managers and service advisors who will say, we don't need the oil change. Come on, we don't make any money on an oil change. You don't. That's okay. We do know that when people service with you, they're X times more likely to buy from you versus a competitor. And so we also know that if people are in a regular cadence of getting service with you, and if you're doing a good MPI, for those non-automotive people, that's a multi-point inspection. But if you're doing a good MPI and you're making good recommendations, you're going to get customer pay and warranty ROs that you wouldn't have otherwise got because you didn't bring them into your service department through an express lube, or at least an express lube experience, right? I think that's the greatest opportunity for car dealers right now from a customer experience standpoint.
Service
another one. This going through this right now. My wife drives a big child carrier SUV, and we're looking to potentially replace it with another one. So we've been driving a few different brands recently just to see what fits and whatnot. And so it's been an interesting contrast just driving down Dealership Row here in Vermont, and you go just across the street, you get such a different experience from one salesperson to another. One was interesting. We were looking at it was a Cadillac, and it was a Chevy Cadillac store, and the salesperson knew nothing about the product, which was fine with me because I knew as much as I wanted to know. I just wanted to touch it and see what it was like. My wife, on the other hand, didn't know anything, and she was really turned off. Um, but I was good with the guy because he actually got me in the CRM. He sent me an email. That's what I'm looking for. I want somebody who I can just ask quick questions to and get a quick answer. But my wife's like, yeah, the guy was nice, but yeah, he didn't know a thing. And then we went across the street and we were at the Jeep store, and the salesperson knew everything. He was incredible. Personality was fantastic. I was very impressed with him, but he didn't ask our names. He didn't put us in the CRM. So I've got his card, and I will, if something comes up, I will talk to him. And then the Ford store, also across the street, the first salesperson, we've bought a few cars from this dealership, and the first salesperson didn't even ask. I just told her, hey, we bought a few cars from you. We want to check this thing out. And she's like, oh, here's the key. And she basically threw it at us. We took it for a drive, came back. We had to hand her the license plate and the keys back. And she's like, how'd you like it? I said, great. But she didn't take our information either.
Yeah, but some of those, the average auto buyer, one not in automotive, would say that some of those are really great customer experiences, man. And that's how I want to buy. I want to come in, have them throw me the keys, whatever. That's great, except you don't sell any cars because you're not a restaurant. Mm-hmm. When people walk into a restaurant, they're not shopping you, right? Can I see your menu, right? And then going across the street and eating somewhere else. For a car dealer, this is where, man, we've got this experience kind of, but it's hit and miss, right? She throws the keys, somebody else does something else or whatever. Those 4 salespeople could all work at the same store, and you could get those 4 experiences. This is where process comes in, and that's the other piece about, Chick-fil-A versus the competitors is there are process pieces in everything. And, you might say, well, Steve, we don't need a manual this thick. And, yeah, you might. Right. And that's great. Lots of dealers have them. They don't enforce them. Before I forget, make sure you drive down to Rutland and give Alderman's a chance because, they got the Toyota and the Chevy store there. And I guarantee it will be a great customer experience and you'll pay a great price. Yeah.
I wish he was closer. Yeah. He's almost a 2-hour drive for me.
2 hours in Vermont? Come on. That's like 15 minutes in Dallas. Let's go. And I'm sorry, I missed Jim Meek's comment. You threw it up there and I missed it. Jim is a former sales manager of a RV. Yeah, there we go. Put your pride and energy up front. Yep. And you want to work at the time. Yep, indeed. Jim's in mortgages now, but was a superstar RV manager, RV store manager of a huge RV store or chain up here in the Northwest before they got bought. Everybody's getting bought in the RVs. That's the interesting thing. We see these few buy sales in automotive and we think, wow, it's really picking up. If you're an independent RV dealer right now and you haven't had 5 major companies approach you and try to buy you, it'd be crazy. Yeah, they're all Camping World's the biggest, right? Marcus Lemonis, and they're going around buying up everybody. I will tell you, if you're selling RVs right now, you may want to switch to automotive because they are in for a long, desolate winter for probably the next 2 years. So
they're living in glory the past couple of years.
Oh yeah. And unfortunately, just like automotive, right, where every salesperson in automotive got into order taker mode, if you had it, you sold it. Some of these RV salespeople, if they came into the business in 2020 or later, they don't know what real selling is. Same thing with car dealers. So in Alex's, Ford example, where she just threw him the keys, that's was the way to sell a car in 21 and 22, right? Today, you need to sell them. You need to move them through a road to the sale. And they probably wouldn't have closed Alex at any of the places, but imagine if that Jeep guy when he greeted you, he put you in the CRM right away. He said, "Hi, I'm Steve. Welcome to Steve's Jeep. Which vehicle did you come to test drive today?" You said, "We're looking at Grand Cherokees." He said, "Great. Let me get your driver's license. We'll get you registered. We'll get you some keys. We'll get you on that test drive." You would have immediately pulled out your license. He would have scanned it. You'd be in his CRM. Then if he pulled you through an actual road to the sale and didn't let you leave until you saw some numbers, a whole bunch of people would buy, right, in that instance. But, he's knowledgeable. He showed you everything. He just didn't follow road to the sale. Probably followed a better road to the sale than the girl that tossed the keys. But
she's no longer there.
Well, she was. This is the piece, and I just I forget where I just wrote about. Oh yeah, I wrote about it in the Tennessee Dealer News quarterly newsletter that I write for. We still have a lot of sink or swim managers out there, meaning they hire salespeople and then throw them in the deep end of the pool, and the ones that sink, they just weren't cut out for the car business. That's probably what they're saying about her today at the dealership. Yeah, Barbara just wasn't cut out for the car business. Well, everyone's cut out for the car business. We just need to train them.
Everyone can fog a mirror.
Yeah.
So
they froze.
Yeah. We've got a good question for you, Steve, from the audience. So George Jones is asking, in your opinion, what tactical steps can leaders take to inspire their teams to buy into a customer-first process?
Tactically, that's a great question, George, because all the leaders out there want to think strategically, right? They want to create programs and all this stuff. Tactically, Jeff said lead. Is that what you said? That's a big part of it, right? First, they have to care. They have to genuinely care about serving the customer. Then they have to make sure that the people who report to them genuinely care about serving the customer, creating a great customer experience every time. And that has to continue to flow all the way to the front lines. But then the next piece is they need to inspect. And it's almost an undercover boss type thing. When I was in the Marine Corps on Guam, once a year, a general would come in and inspect. Well, we knew 3 months before he was coming in, right? So for 3 months, we scrubbed the barracks. We repainted everything. Guam is very humid, mold everywhere, just grows on everything. Anyway, guy would come in, general for guy. Hey, guy. That's what I called him. Corporal Stauning. Hey, guy. But he would come in, do the inspection. Everything looked great, and he would leave. And it's because we were able to put on the dog and pony show. I don't know why CEOs, regional vice presidents, et cetera, want a dog and pony show. I want to see our business the way the customer sees our business, right? Pull into your parking lot during, let's say you're a regional manager for Panera Bread. Pull into your parking lot at lunchtime. What does it look like, right? Panera Bread, they did a study. They found that if you could see the line from the parking lot, like if the line to serve people was, that their business dropped by like 20% of people drove away. I'm making up stats now, so nobody quote me on those exact stats. But that's the idea, right? They don't see their business through their customers' eyes. We have a chapter in there called Your Customer's Eyes. And I think the other thing, beyond caring and beyond, seeing things through the customer's eyes, sort of undercover boss sort of thing, is understanding that our definition of good enough is fine as long as it matches the customer's version of good enough, right? We write in the book, we believe 95% of McDonald's employees believe they're delivering good enough. And, it's probably true, right? 19 out of 20 probably think they're delivering good enough. And in their eyes, they are, right? But customers don't feel that way, right? About a third of my visits to McDonald's are absolutely terrible. Just, they get the order wrong, they do something, right? The burgers are bad, the chicken sandwich is stale, whatever. It's not good enough. Chick-fil-A delivers good enough. The great news for Chick-fil-A is their definition of good enough is the same as the customers. And that alignment is pretty critical.
That's a great statement.
So the McDonald's that I've been into, only because my daughter drags me in there from time to time, I would say the past 3 or 4 times I have not walked up to the order taker. Instead, because there was none, there's no one ready to take your order. Instead, you are directed towards their kiosk ordering machine, whatever you want to call it. I know we're just talking about fast food at the moment, but you got like, I wonder if Chick-fil-A will take that route, or will they still stick to the one-to-one customer service?
If it's better for the customer, they will. And that's the piece. Where McDonald's and other people with kiosks have failed, and not all McDonald's have failed at this, but the tablet on the table at TGI Fridays or Yard House or whatever, where they have failed are two things. One, they haven't helped the customer through that process. You're just supposed to go up to it and know what to do. And then, or they capitulate, and I see this like at Yard House all the time. The waitress or waiter will come up to the table and take that tablet and turn it around, and they'll put your order in through the tablet. Tablets and kiosks increase order accuracy because we don't make mistakes. We're ordering. Tablets in restaurants get you your food faster than ordering through a waitress or waiter. The other thing that tablets and kiosks never forget to do is they never forget to upsell. And so the ticket size is higher by a substantial amount if the tablet or kiosk is set up for upsell, because they never forget to ask, do you want the apple pie or whatever if you're at McDonald's or something. But people get extra cheese, they get extra bacon, they get extra patty, all these things that they would never do when talking to Claire, the cashier. But I believe, like in the restaurant scenario, it would be a better customer experience if the server introduced you to the tablet, show you how to use it, and let you know, I'm happy to take your order for you, but most of my customers have found they really like to do it themselves. See, because once I learn how to use that tablet, I'm also going to get another beer when I'm ready, right? And so I might have 3 beers, right, if somebody else is driving, instead of 2. Because the reason I can only have 2 is I have to finish my beer completely, and then she has to loop back around at a good time when I can order another one. Anyway, I mean, it's pretty clear. And so, where that technology is easy, remember, make it easy is the first thing that customer first companies do. Where that technology is easy, it's getting adopted and it's creating a better customer experience. But where you let your employees circumvent it, or in the case of your experience at McDonald's, no one's even around, that kiosk has to be, they're not making it easy. I do want to address John.
I'd rather lick the bathroom floor than touch some of those damn tablets.
Yeah, that was there have been some pretty dirty ones I've run away from.
Well, we're not too far away from like an augmented reality, right? Where I can just hover over it. The problem is the first iterations of those is I hover over it, and all of a sudden I've ordered, everything on the left side of the menu. That's for some people that's okay. That's what they came in to do.
Do you see a kiosk like that coming into the dealership showroom? I know, in the past they've tried. There's been a couple companies that have, came up with some decent solutions, but they all tend to fail. Now, still, even to this, I gotta wonder if there's any importance there behind that actually on the showroom floor.
I think if you're a Texas Direct Auto or a CarMax is a better example because nobody knows who Texas Direct Auto is. You can do the kiosk thing and make it a better experience, right? Ford is not going to let a Ford dealer, have a greeter who points people to a kiosk to enter all their own information and so, do their own vehicle selection and schedule their own test drive and appraisal and do all that stuff from the kiosk. I wish they would, because I think it is a better experience. Again, not everybody has to go to the kiosk. We're going to have people available. But whether it's a kiosk or a tablet process, these have failed because they've all been programs, right? We get the new tablets. We're going to, it's got AutoFi or Roadster, it doesn't matter, Upstart, whatever, loaded on it. And We don't train on it. We don't make sure everyone's certified on it. Managers don't like it because they think it's going to replace them. Salespeople don't like it because they think eventually it's going to replace them. But we know it's a better customer experience. It's a quicker sale. You close at higher rates. Customers enjoy the interaction, right? And I'm not talking about handing them a tablet, making them do the work, but both of you working on the tablet and turning the tablet to them, or maybe it's a computer on your desk, but that sort of process, just like the kiosk at McDonald's, it doesn't forget to upsell, and it doesn't skip a road to the sales step, right? Customer, in order taker mode right now, we're out there, we're showing a vehicle, and customer says, well, you think we can be under $400 a month on a vehicle like this? And the worst thing salespeople do is answer it, right? Because there is no right answer. Oh, sure, if you got $20,000 down and you're going to finance for 72 months, blah, blah, blah. And yes, CarMax has tested those, and I've seen them in the Spokane CarMax. All of a sudden that customer is not taking the test drive, right? The payment question is a write-up question, and we shouldn't even be addressing it until write-up. If we had a tablet or some sort of, hard process to follow, we could say that, well, let us, hey, that's a great question, whatever. I'm not going to go through the whole acknowledging or move on, but, and move them to the next step. And it would be more seamless with a tablet. Anyway, that's the thing. We see all of these digital retailing initiatives fail. They failed because no one was really committed to them, right? The dealer principal wasn't committed to them, so his or her managers weren't committed to them. So the salespeople weren't committed to them. Oh yeah, and the other piece, that they didn't burn the boats. The first time that we didn't get a to the penny calculation in one tablet process, we throw away the tablets and we start, working with Sharpie again or whatever. So
yeah, but that was happening a lot. There were a lot of them where the calculations were off. Anyway, got a something. We've got two questions to come into, but before we do that, I wanted to go back to your Panera statement. So if Panera found that if customers could see inside the building and realize the line was long, they'd bolt. Whereas, go back to any dealership. I assume anyone listening can relate to this, but you either had like one customer in the showroom or you were overrun. So when people saw that you were busy, people flocked to you. Mm-hmm. And, I also wonder if there's something in that same regard to the front line of the dealership. It's like when inventory was low recently and you were driving down Dealership Row and you could see like there's a lot of empty parking spaces. Like, that's not appealing, especially if there's holes on the front line and things like that. And it looks like your store is dead. There are so many dealerships I'd drive by during that time and be like, man, are they still in business?
That's a good point.
So I wonder if there's you want more floor ups or more floor activity, like present make your store look lively.
Yeah, we know activity drives activity in automotive. In the Panera example, it was the study was actually about the being able to see the line from the door. So, I mean, where you drive by and you can look in the window and see that the line is to the door, 20% plus peeled off and went somewhere else to eat. For a dealership, we know it's just the opposite because, driving, I'm going to use a 10-year-old data from driving sales, that 99% of buyers expect a hassle when they start the car shopping process. You couple that with the way of millennials today. Yes, Ryan, mannequins in your showroom window. I am 100% into that. Maybe you could do the Home Alone thing where they're on kind of a train track.
They got to be moving. Like
spinning around. But you couple that with the way millennials and Gen Zs especially, but even most people today, they don't want to be the only one in a dealership. They don't want to be the focus of that attention. And so they're more likely to pull in when they think you're busy because maybe they can wander around by themselves, right? And no one's going to quote unquote attack them. So absolutely. And by the way, I thought you were going to go to the balloon thing when you started talking about the front line. Look, I know there are a bunch of know-it-alls.
Gorillas.
Yeah, gorillas. There are a bunch of know-it-alls in automotive in automotive tech who say balloons don't sell cars. You can probably tell how I feel about it the way I said it. I will tell you that activity drives activity, and if it looks like you're having a stinking sale, more people will pull in. End of story. And it's
for sure.
You can say balloons don't sell cars. Well, I'll tell you that display advertising doesn't sell cars, right? We know it does. We can't make that direct correlation. People don't come in and say, I saw you had balloons, and so I wanted to buy from you today. Anyway, it is, you're right. It is about showing that activity.
So sorry, Jeff, there are two questions.
No, go ahead.
We've been sitting on for a while here. I know Steve was looking at Facebook trying to answer one of them. So this one is a good one because I think like some of what we were just talking about bleeds into this a bit. So John Singo is wondering about adjusting pay plans that focus on customer experience practices.
I think it's like communism. It's great on paper. In practice, we just have to look at the OEM CSI programs, right? They're all a joke. 4 out of 5 stars should be a good score in a true, if we really care about how customers are treated, getting 4 out of 5 stars, that's a passing grade. It's 80%. But we know if it's not 5 out of 5 on that survey, that dealer is going to get punished. And so what do? They coach the survey. Some still pay, for a good survey, even though it's all verboten. Now, a lot of OEMs have pulled back from that, especially with the inventory shortages. And so I think if we could find a bulletproof way to compensate for that, it'd be great. But my belief is that if we just do some old school leadership, some management by walking around, right? We don't allow people to work for us who treat customers poorly. We standardize how we answer the phone. We standardize how we greet customers. We standardize our road to the sale. We make sure this is a big one in service. You pull into the service drive and there's 3 service advisors and they're all at their podiums and they're staring at their computers and you're sitting in your car wondering, do I get out? Am I supposed to walk up to one of them? Which one am I supposed to walk up to? Making it easy for me would be to see my car pull in, run the plate in my CRM or my X time or whatever, and then walk up to me and say, hey, Steve, welcome back. Right? Looks like we're doing this, this, and this today. If I can get you to sign here, I understand you're going to be waiting. Is that correct? Great. I'll come into the service waiting area when I've got some news and then move me on. Instead, I sit in my car for a while. Then I get out and I walk up to one of the 3, and invariably I pick the wrong one of the 3. When I get to the right one of the 3, he looks at me like I have 3 heads when I say I have an appointment. Are you sure you set an appointment? Some people think they hit submit on the website and they didn't. So, whatever.
Sounds like that's happened to you.
Exactly. Yeah, this is a true story. It was a Ford dealer, Gus Johnson Ford in Spokane, Washington. They've now sold, probably because they provided a shitty customer experience. I'm allowed to say that now since they're not in business. After accusing me of not knowing how to set an appointment for, I think it was about 5 minutes, which is a long time to talk to a service advisor. He found the appointment, and then he made me repeat everything that I had typed into their system, their X-Time system online. And to be clear, I understand you want to verify that that's what the customer wants, but don't make them repeat. Read back to them. Looks like we're doing this, 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 and this. Was there anything else? So when he came to me with the MPI and wanted to upsell me some service, how much of that do you think I bought? None of it. I didn't buy any of it. And I was never back again because they didn't make it easy, right? They didn't manage my expectations. They didn't, keep me informed, and they didn't keep their word. Lots of things around, how long the process took and when he said he was going to come check on me and all that fit those last 2. But yeah, I don't want to, we could talk a whole hour just about that one service visit. So.
Have you ever walked into I mean, you've been in a lot of dealerships. Have you ever been to a dealership where the GM or upper management were complete shambles, just not organized, just shitty attitude?
Never.
But the floor in the service department was just kicking it, killing it. Great customer service, making money. Have you ever seen that example?
No, not for very long. Salespeople are human, and human beings left to their own will
I don't know.
they'll choose the easy over the effective. And so you might, if you've experienced that's because you have some sales manager who's driving that, or you have a de facto leader on the sales team who's driving that. But it doesn't last for long.
Can't last for long. There's no way.
Peter Drucker, culture eats strategy for breakfast. The culture is driven from the top, and by the way, if the culture starts getting driven from the bottom and it's not what it's too fun, we're a goddamn country club, whatever. They'll beat these people into mediocrity. They'll get them right in line, right? They'll take that 30-car seller. He'll be down to 15 a month before you know it, if he doesn't go somewhere else.
For sure.
So we got another question from the audience. So Jeff's got another one. Your Stella and Brooke thoughts, and I assume he's speaking of some of the AI personalities, whether they're on the phone or in a chat bot or.
So again, if they can make it easy and manage expectations, right, AI is going to do a better job of keeping you informed and helping the store keep their word, whatever that piece of it is. The problem that I've found with chatbots outside of automotive is, and even the ones that are alleged AI, is they don't make it easy. They're not smart enough to figure out what the heck I'm looking for. They limit your choices, right? So, there'll be this picture of a headset just like mine, a little icon, and say customer service. I'll click on it and it'll be a damn chat bot. And they'll say, which of these, 5 things can I help you with? None of the 5. I need this, right? It happened yesterday with Fidelity Financial Services online. The second time this week, a bunch of their trading platforms had gone down, and part of mine had gone down. And I'm not a day trader sitting here trading all day, but it was I wanted to put in a trade based on an alert I just received. Couldn't do it. Also could not navigate their past their AI chatbot to get it done. So they failed the first step that customer first companies do: make it easy. Whatever it is that you deliver, or whatever it is that the customer is looking for, make it easy. Simple as that. If it's technology, or if it's Barbara instead of Stella, a human being instead of AI, make it easy. Simple as that.
Make it sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. AI is definitely a replacement for a lack of accountability.
Yeah, and American Airlines just fired a bunch of their customer service reps and put in AI, and it's been pretty rocky so far. Yeah, that it's not quite ready for prime time yet. I think as a layer before a human, it makes a lot of sense, because some of those things could be fixed very quickly, and more efficiently for the customer. But there's really got to be a button, human being, right? This, I want human being. And if our pesky customers keep clicking that button, maybe there's something to that, right? Glenn Garvin put in comments when I shared this, that I was going to do this. He said, be sure to hit the at no reply, right? The no reply at emails that customer service teams send out, right? We're sorry to hear about your issue, right? And it comes from an email called no reply at American Airlines, or no. that, whatever.
I still have replied to them
yeah, but then all you get is
on purpose.
then you bounce that, making it more. But again, that goes back to make it easy, right? And even though we're talking in these instances, AI or the no reply at, we're talking about reactive customer service. If you've already failed, you got to fix it, right? We wrote in the book, what do you do when you screw up? Because you will screw up. Chick-fil-A screws up. You just make it right. It's as simple as that, and you do it quickly. Mm-hmm. But imagine if you could, if you did the 4 steps from the very beginning, you make it easy. You manage a customer's expectations, you keep them informed, and you keep your word. If you do those 4 things, it doesn't matter how big your company is. You probably only need a couple of customer service reps, right? Because you're just not fielding very many issues, and the only ones you're fielding are from complete sociopaths. That's it. You're the Karens that are always going to be Karens.
No doubt. I was going to bring up the example of Elon Musk and Twitter X, because he got rid of like 70% of his staff and continue.
Yeah, but
it's a little bit different. But
yeah, well, but understand, we're not the customers of X or Twitter. We're the product, right? I imagine that he's a smart guy. For those people who want to advertise, right, his customers, the advertisers, I imagine they're working on systems that make it easy, right, and that manage expectations and keep the customer informed and keep their word.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to text my next phone call to let them know I'm going to be a couple minutes late. Sorry.
Well, we can wrap it up here. I definitely appreciate the book. You had sent 2 copies over. I got up the chapter. Yeah, well, we started reading it together. I've surpassed her a little bit, and I'm on chapter 9, which is today's customer, which you hit on a lot of good points with today's customer. It's definitely a little bit more. I don't know if it's more difficult. You really got to. Yeah, it's like the expectations, I would say, are higher for a lot of people. For me, my expectations have gone down, but I always keep low expectations for people. If you have low expectations,
so positive
for everybody, for everything and everybody, you're always going to be a little happier, because it doesn't take much to surpass the expectation.
We wrote in the book, and you'll get to it, and just don't screw it up. The pandemic, the shortages, labor shortages, part shortages, all that. They taught customers and they taught consumers that a great experience was just getting what you wanted, right? Just I ordered it and it arrived. Holy cow, that's 5 stars. We don't have to blow people's minds away. We don't need red carpets. We don't need, restaurants. Hey, restaurants. You don't need the manager walking around. How was your meal? How was your service? Whatever. No, it's terrible. And it's always mid-bite, isn't it? Mm-hmm. But yeah, so before you all attack Jeff for only being on chapter 9 of a book this thin, the idea is, this is
well played.
It's not quite it's not quite a toilet read, but it's definitely an airplane read, right? But we wrote it for companies to, if they're going to adopt it, take it over 22. It's 22 chapters. Take it over 22 weeks, because each chapter has key learnings and chapter exercises. So do the exercises for the next week for the entire organization, and then move to the next week. And I know some people are saying, Steve, that's 22 weeks. What else are you going to do? Where will you be in 22 weeks if you don't do this, right? We're making a permanent change here. This is a permanent cultural change from top to bottom. If it takes 22 weeks, so be it. But let's do it right. It's not a program. Yeah, 22 weeks, we're going to blink, right? And 22 weeks is going to be gone. So.
Yep. All right. No doubt.
Well, speaking of gone, we don't want you to be late for your 2:00. So
I appreciate
Thank you for joining today, Steve, and writing another book as you're also writing another book.
I am. Ridiculous Simple Car Selling. Should be out before the end of the year, but I'll self-promote the shit out of it, so you all know.
Well, we'll have you back on for sure.
All right. I appreciate that. That's, by the way, I only write books because it's the only way you have me back. So I have to write a new book.
Steve, I think you have more Refresh Friday appearances than anybody now.
It sure does.
Wow. All right.
I think you're the leader.
I'm honored.
Yep.
I'm honored. Thank you, guys.
All right, Steve.
See y'all later.
Have a great weekend.